Here you go. Here's your royal cloak. Oh, looks wonderful on you. And your royal ring.
Mine too, Katie.
Oh, Coco, not that type of ring. And finally, your royal crown.
Oh, yes. The Seventh Crusade. Oh, yes.
Presenting His Royal Majesty King Koco.
Hello, everyone. I am your new king. How are you all going?
King Koco, what will be your first announcement?
Well, I'm glad to ask that. It is a very good question. Do you have any suggestions?
Your Majesty, I can't help but notice you're a bit unsure of what to do. How about I tell you a story of a very good and great king and you might get some inspiration?
Yeah, Katie. Yes, that sounds like a very good idea. Tell me at once.
Of course, right away.
Come and play with Katie and Koco. That's the way. Get ready, let's go. Flying through the air with Koco, telling stories with Katie. You and I together, meeting my friends that help us every day. Katie and Koco, play and sing, pray and bring. You and I, we do our thing. It's Katie and Koco.
Once upon a time, in the year 1215 to be exact, a great king was born in the land of France, Louis IX. His father died when he was very young, leaving the queen, his mother, to rule in his place, until he grew old enough to claim the throne for himself. Louis loved his mother, for she gave him a gift far more valuable than any costly treasure or even the most tender motherly affection.
How could there even be such a thing? That was his mother's gift.
She taught him to love God above all things and to hate sin even more than death. This was the key to being a great king, and Louis never forgot it throughout his whole life.
This is very good. I should take some notes. Paper and pencil, please. Love God above all things. Hate sin more than death. Got it? So when he became king, how did he actually put these things into practice, Katie?
First of all, he had to be the best example of this in his own life. He knew that he couldn't simply live the usual life of a rich king, having parties, stuffing himself with rich food, acting with cruelty because he felt like it, having battles for no reason, loving any woman he desired. Oh no. If he was going to encourage his people to love God and hate sin as well, then he had to show them what that looked like.
I see. So when you're a king, you can't just tell people to do one thing, but then do something completely different.
Exactly so. You're catching on fast. And Louis didn't just want to show that he loved God for the sake of other people. He wanted to do it for his own sake as well. He wanted to show God how much he loved him. So he went to Mass every day. He made sure that the church was run with the right amount of fairness and the right amount of strictness. He set aside certain hours of the day to pray and certain days of the week to fast from food. From the age of 15, he even gave up his favorite hobbies of fishing, hunting, and performing in plays.
Are those bad things, Katie?
No, not at all. He simply wanted to give them up as a small sacrifice to God since he liked doing them so much.
Do I have to give up something like that too? Like playing branch hop with my friends?
You don't have to give it up altogether. Maybe just every once in a while, if you want to make a small sacrifice of love to offer to God, who gave you all the things you normally enjoy. Your kids could also try that sometimes too. You might like playing video games or going bike riding or reading books or anything. Next time you want to do it, you could try either not doing it completely and instead do something not so keen on, like doing your homework or putting your clothes away. Or before you start, you could just say a small prayer, thanking God for giving you these fun things you enjoy doing.
I never knew there were so many simple ways to show that we love God. So, back to King Louis. I can definitely tell that he did all he could to love God in his own life. But how did he encourage his people to do the same?
Fortunately, as the king, he was able to be very generous and welcoming to the poor people. He lived in a palace after all. But unlike many other kings, he didn't make the palace a place where only he was served. He made it a place to serve others.
Did he invite the people into his own palace?
Every day. His cooks might have had a lot of work on their hands, because Louis invited about 120 of his poor citizens to eat with him daily. And not just on the floor like commoners, not even in a different room. He had them all seated at table and served by his own staff, as though they were his equals. 3 of them were even invited to sit right beside him, so that he, their king, could serve them food at his own table.
Brothers and slaves, that sounds just like what Jesus did. The people must have loved him very much.
I'm sure they did. Although some of his royal court weren't so keen on the idea of inviting these commoners among the nobility. But do you think Louis listened to them?
No way. Those people were coconuts. Louis only listened to God, right?
Right. Unlike those proud members of his court, Louis thought that simply inviting the poor people to dine with him wasn't enough. So he found time to go out into the town and visit the poor people in their own homes, especially going to sick people.
What about the poor people who didn't have any homes?
He had homes built for them, large houses for caring of the poor, and churches and convents for people to praise and honor God. Yet, despite all this success, Louis always wanted to make sure that he was doing the right thing. He knew that just like anyone else, there were always things he could improve on. So he made time on 2 days each week for anybody, and I mean anybody, to come and speak to him personally about any complaints or suggestions they had. And he would do his best to listen to this criticism and advice and make any changes that were necessary.
You're right. King Louis really did show his people how to love God. I better write that down. How to show people how to love God. Tell them that I love them too.
Brilliant, Koco. You're going to have some good tips after this.
No, sure am. Katie, the people must have been so inspired to love God that none of them would ever have sinned.
Well, I'm sure there were many people who learned to hate sin as much as Louis. But there were many who still needed convincing. One time, Louis was visiting a very sick man with a terrible skin condition called leprosy. He posed a question to one of his courtiers who was with him.
What did he ask?
See this sick man with sores covering his body? Would you prefer to suffer from this same sickness or to commit a mortal sin?
That seems like a tough choice. I wonder what the court is going to choose.
Sire, I would rather have 100 mortal sins on my soul than those horrible sores on my body.
Oh, I don't think that's the answer Louis was looking for.
Truly, you do not understand what it means to be in disgrace with the Almighty God. Know that a mortal sin is to be dreaded more than all the evils of the earth.
I'm definitely going to write that one down. I hope the courtier listened to him.
I hope the courtier listened to him as well. For Louis, being a Christian was a greater honor than being a king.
Really? But Katie, a king rules a whole kingdom. Heaps of people who are Christians.
Yeah, a king rules a kingdom on earth for a while. But when we are baptized as Christians, we become children of God, who is the king of the whole universe. And when we die and go to heaven, God gives each of us thrones of our own that even the richest, most powerful king on earth could only dream of. That's why Louis loved everyone and wanted them all to earn their place in God's kingdom.
I have to admit, being a Christian sounds pretty awesome. And Louis sure did earn his place in God's kingdom.
Yep, Jesus was his true king. And when the crown of thorns which Jesus himself wore when he died was brought to France, Louis was given the chance to show how a king of the world like him should treat the crown of the king of the universe. Louis brought his whole court and all the members of the church to collect the crown of thorns, and then walked back 5 miles to Paris. The road was covered in snow, but Louis walked the whole way barefoot and with his head uncovered while he carried Jesus' crown in his hands, finally placing it in the cathedral with a great ceremony.
Jesus is the greatest king ever. Underline. Katie, did Louis only help the people of France or people in other kingdoms too?
His main focus was in France, of course. But when he heard about the Christians suffering in the Holy Land where Jesus used to live, he went twice with his armies to help regain their freedom. In fact, it was in the Holy Land on his second trip that he eventually fell very ill and died after giving his eldest son special instructions on how to rule after he was gone.
So St. Louis died in the same land that Jesus lived in, died and rose again?
Yes, he did. I'm sure he would have considered that one of the greatest honors of his life.
Katie, I definitely need St. Louis's prayers if I'm going to have any hope of being a good king like him.
And St. Louis will be more than happy to give you and all of us his help. Dear St. Louis, thank you for allowing God's kingdom to rule over your own kingdom and for treating everyone with the love God wants to give them. Help us to love being a Christian like you did and to earn our place in God's kingdom by being generous to all. Please pray for all leaders, especially Koco, that they may serve their people and God as well as you did.
Bravo! Excellent! I think I will be a great king. I've certainly got some good notes.
I quite agree.
And I would like to appoint you as my personal advisor.
Me? Oh, what an honor.
But first, you must answer this riddle to prove you can really be my advisor.
Okay, what's the riddle?
I have a tail and a head, but no body. What am I?
Okay. I have a tail and a head, but no body. How can that connect? A head and a tail have to be connected to a body.
Do you give up?
No, not yet. Give me a hint.
Okay. This will be your final hint.
Oh, but this is also the first hint. Kids, give me a clue.
You can use this to get things.
To get things. A head and a tail. Not a monkey with no body?
No!
Oh, a dog with no body.
You can't get a dog with no body.
A cat with no body.
You can't get a cat with no body.
Oh no! What am I gonna do? I really want to be the advisor. Come on, kids.
Everyone has
Tell
it.
me the answer.
Everyone has it.
Really?
Yeah.
A head, tail, head, tail. Head and tail. A coin! A coin has a head and tail and you flip it and it doesn't have a body. Is that right?
Yes. You did well.
Oh, good. So can I be your advisor now?
I have another challenge first.
You're hard to please.
You must make me some craft.
Easy. Oh, yes, I accept this challenge.
Then what are you waiting for? Let's go.
Okay. Let's go. Hey kids, welcome back to craft, and welcome you too, Coco. Are you excited for craft?
Excited.
Awesome, me too. Today we're going to be making a woven crown. So St. Louis was a king, right? And remember how he got to hold the crown of thorns of Jesus? So this crown is going to remind us both of the crown that King Louis wore as a king and of the crown of thorns that he got to hold from Jesus. Okay, so I've got some green craft wire and some gold wire. Now you can use whatever color you like. You could probably even use some pipe cleaners if you like or anything. I've got some scissors and also some tape. All right, let's get started. First, I'm going to use 2 bits of green wire, 2 bits of gold, and 2 more bits of gold. And we're going to start weaving these ones together. So make sure they all line up at the start, and so we can secure them to start weaving it together. We're just going to tape the ends together. So I've got some tape. We're just going to wrap that around the ends of the wires and wrap it around the end. Okay, so now I'm going to start weaving. So I've got these gold pieces and I'm just going to weave those around the green pieces. So here we go. So I've got this gold piece and this gold piece, and this gold piece is going to go over the top of the green like this, and this outside gold piece is going to go into the middle, and then the green is going to go over the gold. And so you're just making a plait. It's very simple. The outside just goes over the middle. Then the next outside goes over the middle. How is it looking so far, Coco?
Yeah, Katie.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like... So, I'm starting to get towards the end of my gold pieces here. So I'm going to need to continue that with some other gold pieces. So I'm going to get some more gold. Got 2 more here. And I'm just going to wrap them around and twine them at the end of these gold pieces so it continues. So twine them around, twist them around where the ends are, because this is a bit pointy. I'm just going to put some tape around it so it doesn't poke into my head. That wouldn't be good, would it? I know we're making one similar to the crown of thorns, but we don't actually want to poke ourselves in the head with some wire, do we? No, indeed, that would hurt. Okay, so a bit of tape. There we go. No wire is going to poke into my head now. All right, now I'm going to do the same for this one. I'm going to get my other gold wires. So twine them together. Twist them around. Twist, twist, twist. Secure it with some tape again so the wires aren't poking. Go, nice and protected. Now we can continue our pattern. So we're up to this one, bring that over to the middle. It's almost time to make our green, to extend our green wire too. Okay, so I might extend my green wire now. I'm going to grab 2 more pieces. do the same as I did for the gold. So twist them around together. And put some tape on the ends of those edges. Go. And the other one. The other one. Here we go. So no poking. Okay. Now we're free to continue our pattern. All right, let's go. Take it to the end of the gold. Wouldn't fit your head, would it, Koco?
No.
Wouldn't even be a necklace. It'd be way too big for you. Okay. Now secure that end. I'll just check how it's going to fit. Let's see. Bring that around. There we go. So it's going to secure at that spot there. Just where I've ended it. Okay. So I'm just gonna entwine it together. I'm gonna wrap my gold bits around. Wrap my green bits around. And there we go, there's my woven crown. There we go. How good does that look, Koco? Shall I try it on?
Yeah, Katie.
Let's see what it looks like. There we go. Put that on top of my hat. There we go. Wow, look at that. Now I've got a nice woven crown.
Try it on.
Let's see how it looks on my head. There we go. A crown that reminds me of King Louis and also Jesus' crown of thorns. Hey kids, if you'd like extra instructions on how to make your own woven crown, you can find it at swpals.org. And Koco and I would love to see you guys making your very own crowns and with you maybe even wearing it. Have fun.
Fun.
So, do I get to be your personal advisor now?
Let me take a look at my crown. Ah, yes, it is quite impressive. An excellent work of art. I think I shall put it on my royal display.
Oh, what about my position as your royal advisor?
Oh, that, of course. Do you think I could be king on my own? Imagine that.
I don't think I want to.
Hey,
What? You said it, not me.
I'm allowed to say it because I am the king.
I think you might need to take a look at your notes, Mr. King.
Good, I will. Excuse me, kids. I have a business to attend to. See you next time.
See you next time. What are we doing? Ask St. Louis.
Come and play.
Play with Katie and Koco.
That's the way.
Get ready, let's go.
Flying through the air with Koco.
Telling stories with Katie.
You and I together, meeting my friends. Friends that help us every day.
Katie and Koco.
That help us every day.
Katie and Koco. Play and sing.
Pray and bring you and I, we do our thing. It's Katie and Koco.
Problems, worries, sadness. Are you seeking solutions?
Bible says,
Do not be anxious about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Choose faith over fear.